Yes, so our prime focus remains as far as those events in Gurdaspur are concerned. Just at the start of a brand new week, Monday saw terror attacks in Gurdaspur, but in the latest, after 12 hours of encounter operation, terrorists have now been neutralized. All terrorists have been killed in this attack. SWAT teams are reportedly now going from door to door and conducting floor-to-floor searches. It's also been told that the grenade blast killed both the terrorists involved in this attack. The grenade had been launched into rooms from where the terrorists were fighting. Joining me on the phone line is Strategic Affairs Editor Gaurav Sawant. First of all, Gaurav, if you could get us up to date with what's happening on the ground there.
Smita, my sources in Punjab police are telling me that 4 bodies have now been recovered. All terrorists have been killed. They are now going from floor to floor, door to door, carrying out search operations to ensure that there is no more threat to people anymore. That's the information so far. What they're also going through is the kind of arms and ammunition that these terrorists were carrying. They had the latest AK series assault rifles. One of them was carrying an AK-74 with an underbarrel grenade launcher. He had 10 magazines of ammunition, a lot of grenades with him. Apart from dry fruits and water, they had come with the intention of carrying out a sustained operation. This is what they know. These terrorists were singled out from the area from where they were firing. They were in a abandoned building, but in a residential complex. That is why area weapons could not be used. And Sumed Singh Saini, the Director General of Punjab Police, was personally leading these operations, Smita.
Gaurav, did it, of course, prove very, very helpful, the fact that they were actually sort of restrained to this old building that you mentioned? Was that of great strategic importance as far as the forces were concerned?
That was a blessing in disguise. Unfortunately, the Punjab police also suffered major casualties. Unfortunately, the superintendent of police, detective Baljeet Singh, was killed in this operation. He was leading the operation from the front, and he had tried to get on top of one of the buildings from where they could fire into the building. When he called in for reinforcement, that is the time that terrorists struck, and Baljeet Singh was martyred in that operation. He took a bullet to the head. There were also other casualties that Punjab police suffered. While there was one point of time they were thinking that they should hit out at that building and use flamethrowers, but that could have led to collateral damage, and that is why they had restricted these terrorists into this abandoned building and neutralized them, Smita.
Gaurav, also do we know that if, the bodies of these terrorists who have been killed now are already in possession of the forces there, or it will only be once the combing operations are over?
There are several police officials and teams that have entered this building, and the fact that senior police officers have entered the building now is an indication that that building has been completely sanitized, and there is no fear of a hidden danger. So that would indicate that the bodies are also in their control. The first body, of course, that was recovered, that body is already in the custody of the security forces. There were 3 inside this building, or that is what is anticipated, was feared. 1 terrorist was injured, 2 more were firing, but now all 4 have been neutralized. But they're still carrying out combing operation, not just in this building, but also around this area, so that there's no terrorist who could have been hiding or lurking to strike when senior officers get there.
Absolutely. That will also be crucial, of course, that, that combing operations are done in a way that there is no iota of doubt left that all terrorists have been neutralized. Gaurav, do stay with us, but we also have a colleague, Satyendra, with, of course, our sister concern, Aaj Tak, who is sending us this ground update on what is the situation like at the moment, of course, after that encounter ended after almost 12 hours. Let's take a look at the report that Satyendra sends in.
सुबह दिन निकलने से पहले शुरू हुआ ऑपरेशन शाम होते होते अपने अंत के करीब पहुंचा है। आप देख सकते हैं ये ठीक सामने जो इमारत आपको दिखाई दे रही है, जो जर्जर हालत में हो चुकी है और जिसके करीब पुलिसकर्मी लगभग पहुंच चुके हैं, और शायद यही वो क्षण था जिसका सुबह से हर कोई इंतजार कर रहा था। और अब ये कह सकते हैं कि फायरिंग बंद हो चुकी है, लेकिन पुलिस के जवानों ने अभी भी उस इमारत में कब्जा नहीं लिया है, वहां पहुंचने की कोशिश हो रही है। कुल मिलाकर कहा यह जा सकता है कि ये ऑपरेशन अब अपने अंत की तरफ है, यानी कि जितने आतंकवादी थे वो शायद ढेर हो चुके हैं और थोड़ी देर में पुलिस जो है इस बिल्डिंग में घुसकर साफ कर देगी कि इस ऑपरेशन का अंजाम आखिर हुआ क्या है। कैमरामैन दिलीप साहू के साथ सतेंद्र चौहान, दीनानगर, गुरदासपुर, आज तक।
Yes, so there you saw the images, of course, the exclusive images of that building where these terrorists were holed up before, of course, getting killed by the SWAT teams that are there on the spot. And also, so total of, the 4 terrorists who have been now killed in these operations. I'm also joined by news editor Shiv Arur. Shiv, looking at this building, what more do we know about it? Does it look like a random choice as far as these terrorists were concerned? Or what kind of a building was this, in terms of their entry modes? Or you think that some amount of planning must have gone into the choice of this building as well? What do sources suggest?
Probably a combination of those 3 things that you've just mentioned, Smita. The fact is, there appear to be indications that Deenanagar, Gurdaspur may not have actually been the final destination of these terrorists at all. They may have been heading actually north. Ironically, just 10 kilometers away was the Jammu and Kashmir border from where this terror attack actually took place. But given the elevated security scenario and fortifications in J&K, including on the state border, it appears that at least one suggestion from one intelligence agency is that this particular group changed its plans and decided to strike hard and strike heavy in Deenanagar. Now, the precise choice of the building, the police area, and that establishment is not yet very clear. Remember, it is just 10 kilometers from the international border, but 65 kilometers from Norowal, which is, in Pakistani Punjab. The interesting fact is, as reported here on India Today First, the Punjab police say that these men who've been now eliminated as part of this operation belong to the Lashkar-e-Taiba. Now, there's nothing official in terms of their identity having been established so far, and most information is only coming in, from our ground reports and our sources within the establishment and the intelligence agencies. But the simple fact that this is an operation that still continues at this stage, makes it tantalizing in terms of what the reality really must be. As you well know, Smita, at this point of time, just days before Independence Day, there is already a traditional elevated level of alert across the country, and especially on the international border.
Right.
Tying that information in with the modus operandi of this particular attack and these particular terrorists, it makes for very, very interesting analysis. And my conjecture as a reporter is that in the next 2 hours, a lot of things will be very clear, including your original question about whether this was indeed their target or was it something else, but they had to change their target mid-course.
Shiv, also, is there some more clarity? Because, in between we also saw the news agencies report that according to an injured cop, he seemed to suggest that one of the terrorists could have been a female terrorist. Is there any clarity on that?
No clarity. In fact, that's been one of the most confounding, aspects of all of this. In fact, you've got official news agencies that have been reporting, quoting sources as saying that one of these terrorists is in fact a woman. Now, if it was indeed a woman, the confirmation we have is that she's dead, if in fact it was a woman, because she was among those 4 terrorists who were holed up inside. Now, who these people were, where they were from, whether one of them was a woman, precisely whether they came from Norowal in Pakistan, whether they belong to the Lashkar-e-Taiba, all of these facets will, perhaps be confirmed in a short while from now. We're also expecting some kind of an official word and an update from the Punjab police as well as the army. Remember, the army is in a supporting role at this point of time, even though them and the NSG, were at the spearhead of this anti-terror operation initially, but the Punjab police finally took over because they knew the land best. But at this point of time, we're expecting an official word, perhaps the first official word, Smita, in a short while from now, which could detail where these, where these terrorists came from, who sent them, what their modus operandi is, and very importantly, when they actually infiltrated. Because let's never forget, Smita, that's another bone of contention. The army appears to suggest that the infiltration happened, either yesterday or today. But the BSF says the infiltration couldn't possibly have happened today because these terrorists couldn't have, covered such a long ground in such a short time without a vehicle. So very interesting details yet to be figured out.
Absolutely, and several key questions, of course, will have to be answered, but that can possibly be done only through the course of the evening. Now, if Gaurav Sawant is still with us, Gaurav, there were also reports that suggested that these terrorists had used essentially the riverine course, in a way, using, the Ravi River course, which is more difficult to man. Is there anything that your sources can add to it?
This is the route that terrorists have used in the past, whether it was Hiranagar, Jammu, Katwa or Samba. Each time there was an infiltration, the terrorists used the nalas to infiltrate. That has been the route even in the past. There is some clarity on the route they took, the vehicles they took, the bus they travelled in. All of that, in fact, the Punjab police chief will be clarifying in about an hour or perhaps two from now.
Right.
In a short while, he will be briefing the Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh, who then in turn will brief Prime Minister Narendra Modi later this evening. And then there will be a press conference, or perhaps they will first inform the Parliament before briefing journalists about it.
Okay.
The fact that it is Pakistan-sponsored is being confirmed by our sources that these appear to be Lashkar-e-Taiba men.
Okay, so initial reports they're coming in, and these as far as the needle of doubt is concerned, it now indicates that these could be Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists who tried infiltrating into India, of course, but now in these army operations that lasted for almost 12 hours, those live visuals there of the combing operations, the mopping operations there, following, of course, the killing of the 4 terrorists now in Gurdaspur, as you can see on your television screens. Also, as Gaurav was mentioning, some more breaking news coming in that the Home Minister Rajnath Singh is now expected to chair a high-level meeting at 6 o'clock this evening, which means essentially in 45 minutes from now, top security officials, Defence Minister and the Home Minister will do stock taking of the current situation. Joining me on the phone line is my colleague Mausami Singh. Mausami, what are we expecting? Is there also a meeting with the Prime Minister following this high-level meeting? Will there be a press conference, or do we have to wait because the Parliament is in session?
Shweta, the Home Minister Rajnath Singh has been away all day in Madhya Pradesh, and he would be returning shortly. And 6 p.m. is the time when he would be actually chairing a meeting, a high-level meeting of all top security officials. The Defence Minister would also be present. So clearly, all the links to this attack, all the backgrounders, and all the future course of action would actually be chalked out in this meeting. And thereafter, it is expected that the Home Minister would actually brief the Prime Minister on the latest developments. He might be meeting him in person, or would have a telephonic conversation. That is not clear as of now, but the Home Minister would actually be giving a statement in the Parliament tomorrow that he has confirmed,
right.
And he would be actually detailing about the attack. But any other statement likely from the Home Ministry before the Parliament statement is not confirmed as of now.
Mausami, also is NSA Ajay Doval, along with, of course, the intelligence and the service chiefs, also going to be a part of this meeting?
What is clear right now is that the IB chief, the RAW chief, the NSA and other top intelligence officers would be there. The Defence Minister, of course, would be present. It is not ruled out that the Army chief would also accompany the Defence Minister, which has been the case in the past during the Manipur attack also. So all in all, this is a very crucial and critical meeting that the NDA government is banking on to actually get the exact details of the attack. I must let you know that the Home Ministry has not ruled out that this could be Lashkar-e-Taiba. So direct link from any organization, it is too preliminary to state, and the Home Ministry has said only after the attack and the thorough investigation, attack is over and the thorough investigation could actually be pinpointed that who is behind this attack.
Okay, Mausami Singh, stay with us. We are getting these visuals on our television screens. That red building that looks a little bit ragged, remember, is that building where terrorists had holed themselves up, and also police officials trying to take cover behind that water tank, trying to hurl a grenade. One of those grenades, we believe, managed actually to kill take down 2 terrorists. And these are visuals on your television screens. Now, of course, the encounter is over. All the 4 terrorists involved in the Gurdaspur attack, where we have seen some 13 casualties. All those terrorists have now been taken down by the special forces, the SWAT teams, the Punjab police personnel, and the combing operations, the door-to-door and the floor-to-floor search operations are on right now. Mosami, also, on that news that had come in about that intelligence report having been sent in, just 3 to 4 days ago, do we have any further updates on that? At what level was that intelligence input sent in? Are there now apprehension that it wasn't taken too seriously?
See, Smita, clearly on 24th July, the intelligence agencies had sent out this alert stating that there are at least 10 Lashkar-e-Taiba militants trying to infiltrate the border. Although a link between that infiltration and this attack has not been established, but if you look at it the past 2-3 months, there have been continuous alerts about infiltration on the border. If the NDA government's rule is concerned, as far as the rule is concerned, there have been highest infiltration bits during the NDA rules, which is actually a big question mark on the NDA government, which the opposition has been raising. So clearly, there is a connect somewhere between the infiltration bits and this attack, which the agencies are actually not ruling out, and perhaps the picture would be clearer as the investigations progress.
Okay, many thanks, Mosami Singh, for getting us up to speed with that piece of information. That at 6 o'clock, which is almost 40 minutes from now, Home Minister Rajnath Singh, who has been out of the national capital for, of course, the course of the day today, is coming back and will be chairing that stock-taking meeting, which will include the NSA, Ajit Doval, Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar, the intelligence chiefs, as well as, of course, the other top security officials as well. But these latest visuals on your television screens, as you can see it playing out from Gurdaspur, that red building, is really the building where terrorists had tried taking shelter. But as you can see, that the police officers were trying to hurl grenades. Gaurav, at this point also, what details can you share about in terms of such kind of an operation? What were perhaps the challenges in front of our forces, and how difficult was it really to take down these terrorists?
This was an extremely complicated operation as far as security forces are concerned, considering these terrorists first inflicted casualties at a bus station. They killed and injured civilians, then took over a car, inflicted casualty there, then came in and attacked a police station. While similar operations have been carried out, anti-terrorist operations have been carried out in Jammu, Katpa, Samba and Iranagar. This is new for this part of Punjab in the second phase of terrorism now. From what sources are saying, that these terrorists did not even intend to come to Gurdaspur. They intended to go to Jammu, but this was a sudden modification in their plan. That is what is the indication so far. We still have to wait for more clarity on the subject. But these terrorists attacked a police station. The moment they were hit back, they went into an abandoned building, and that was a saving grace, that they were isolated there. The Punjab police was also well armed, that they managed to isolate these terrorists inside an abandoned building and fired at them non-stop. When you look at those pictures, that pockmarked building goes on to show the kind of firepower that has been used from both sides, and this also shows the kind of firepower that the terrorists were carrying, that they were able to engage with the security forces for over 10 hours in this area.
But Gaurav, in these visuals also we see a lot of people who are in plain clothes. People wearing a green t-shirt, a black t-shirt, somebody in a white kurta running around left to right. Policemen don't seem to be, of course, with the bulletproof vests. Aren't these something that also seem to be worrying about the forces there?
In Punjab, a lot of regular policemen are also posted with the intelligence wing. Those with the intelligence wing do not wear a uniform. But in an emergency, everyone chips in. So we still don't know whether these are active duty policemen, they're intelligence people, personal security officers who do not wear uniform. But what also, they don't fire grenades very frequently, as is very clear from these pictures. There's not much place for them to hide when they've lobbed some grenades in this area. The terrorists had under-barrel grenade launchers, so the terrorists were armed very well. They were lobbing precision grenades at the security forces. The security forces, on the other hand, were just lobbing grenades, perhaps the First World War style. So that is where the Punjab police needs to be better armed, and the quick reaction team, I'm told, took some time in reaching the Hiranagar police station. Look at these pictures. All these people who are lobbing grenades are just aimlessly lobbing grenades into that area from where firing was coming from. The terrorists, on the other hand, were using UBGLs, which is a precision firing weapon, Smita.
Absolutely, and Mausami Singh, my colleague, is back again on the phone line. Mausami, also perhaps, one of the things that the ministries should be worried about is the fact the quantity of ammunition or the kind of weapons that these terrorists seem to have had with them and managed to get them all along into Gurdaspur, given the fact that they have been able to sustain an encounter, for almost 12 hours.
That's right, Smita. The Home Ministry sources did confirm that earlier on that the terrorists were carrying hand grenades and they were carrying AK-47 rifles and they had ample of them to last for a day. But there's another point that needs to be brought in here is that the fact that Home Ministry officials also said that why the encounter lasted for so long was because that they were trying to get these terrorists alive. They wanted at least one or two terrorists captured alive so that it could facilitate their interrogation and investigation. Another point that they brought in was that it was a highly residential area, a highly inhabited area. So extreme measures to stop the gunshot firing, to stop the encounter, couldn't have been taken because of the fact that it could have had other civilian casualties. So these 2 points is what the Home Ministry is highlighting about the fact that the encounter lasted for so long. And now the recent update is that the top officials would be meeting and actually discussing the intelligence alerts received, the input from various nodal agencies. Right. And also the Defence Minister would be chipping in about whatever inputs he has, and a conclusive report would be handed out to the Home Minister, who in turn would brief the Prime Minister.
Absolutely. Many thanks for now. Mausami Singh getting us up to date with all the developments there, and also Gaurav Sawant, senior editor, who joined us on the phone line. Pertinent points there as Mausami was making, that obviously as far as this operation was concerned, as far as the police forces on the Indian side were concerned, they were trying hard to minimize casualties, but we will have to wait of course for the conclusive report, which is expected that stock taking meeting to be chaired by the Home Ministry a short while from now. We will